serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At Jwwilliams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor and president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcements for the Jwwilliams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Ms. Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Miss Deborah Ann Miller of Plains, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal, age 83, of 1008 South 14th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, August 14th, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal, age 83, was held Saturday, August 24th, in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Johnny Dean, pastor of the New Poplar Spring Baptist Church, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Louise Parker Royal of Cordele, Georgia, his loving and devoted children, Miss Velena Bivens and her husband, Mr. Jackie Bivens, Mrs. Deborah Harper, and Mr. Kenneth Royal and his wife, Mrs. Catherine Royal, all of Cordele, Georgia. Mrs. Tawana Royal Wilson and her husband, Mr. Demetrius Wilson of Byram, Georgia. And Miss Wanda Bryant Johnson of Washington State. His bonus children, Miss Renetta Merle of Tifton, Georgia, Mr. Wayne Owens of Fayetteville, Georgia, Mr. Calvin Johnson and his wife, Mrs. Mary Johnson of Americus, Georgia, and Mr. Gaithel Harris of Tifton, Georgia, Miss Faye Johnson of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Darrell Westbrook and his wife, Mrs. Bernice Westbrook of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Miss Teresa Mayo and her husband, Mr. Dennis Mayo. 11 beloved grandchildren, to include a devoted grandson whom he raised and his caregiver, Mr. Rontavius Dean. 12 beloved great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Etta Peacock of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Bertha Castro of Jacksonville, Florida, and Miss Jwwilliams of Miami, Florida. His beloved brothers, Mr. Johnny Royal and Mr. Bruford Royal, and his wife, Mrs. Cora Royal, both of Cordele, Georgia, and Mr. Bobby Royal and his wife, Mrs. Florence Royal of Miami, Florida. A beloved aunt, Mrs. Castine Carmichael of Warner Robins, Georgia. His in-law, Mrs. Helen Sanders, and her husband, Mr. E.W. Sanders, and Mr. Hinton Dean, both of Cordele, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal, age 83, of 1008 South 14th Street, Cordele, Georgia. Miss Deborah Ann Miller, age 64, of 306 South Hudson Street, Plains, Georgia, died Monday, August 19, at the Ideal Nursing Center in Ideal, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Deborah Ann Miller, age 64, was held Saturday, August 24th, in the sanctuary of the Lebanon Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia. The Reverend Christopher O'Brien, pastor, the Reverend George Frank Muntz, pastor of Whole Truth International Ministry, officiated. Survivors include her loving and devoted mother, Mrs. Johnny May Pope Miller of Plains, Georgia. Her loving and devoted children, Miss Shimona Miller of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Darren Miller of Jackson, Georgia, and Mr. Karen Miller and his wife, Mrs. Stacy Miller of Winston, Florida. 11 beloved grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, her beloved brothers, Mr. John Miller and his wife, Mrs. Tracy Miller of Logansville, Georgia, and Mr. Marvin Miller of Plains, Georgia. Her beloved aunts and uncles, Miss Meridian Franklin of Plains, Georgia, Mr. Mike Polk and his wife, Mrs. Shirley Polk of Americus, Georgia, and Mr. Eugene Lewis of Plains, Georgia. A host of other relatives and friends to include Mrs. Alberta Johnson Mitchell of Americus, Georgia, Ms. Barbara Ann Morgan of Plains, Georgia, and Ms. Janice Hollis of Warner Robins, Georgia, survived. Ms. Deborah Ann Miller, age 64, of 306 South Hudson Street, Plains, Georgia. Again, the family of Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Miss Deborah Ann Miller of Plains, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during the hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you is their prayer. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Miss Adasia S. Hale, age 27, of 121 Piking House Road, Americus, Georgia, died Sunday, August 11th, in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include her living children, Mrs. Manice Hale and Miss Malaria Hale, both of Americus, Georgia. Her loving and devoted parents, Mr. Christopher Hale, Sr. of Plains, Georgia, and Miss Gabriella Carter of Americus, Georgia. Her loving sister, Miss Ramona Carter of Americus, Georgia. Her beloved brothers, Mr. Christopher Hale, Jr., Mr. Landon Carter, and Mr. Keon Cross, all of Americus, Georgia. Her beloved grandmother, Miss Diane Carter of Americus, Georgia. A beloved aunt, Miss Sandra Carter of Americus, Georgia. A host of other relatives and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Adasia S. Hale, age 27, of 121 Packing House Road, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Adasia S. Hale, age 27, will be held today, Sunday, August 25th, at 2 p.m. in the sanctuary of the Living Word Church in Americus, Georgia. The pastor, Reverend Gilbert Nestor, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Lebanon Cemetery in Plains, Georgia. Miss Lula Mae Jones, age 84, of 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia, died Wednesday, August 21st, at Atrium Health Navison in Macon, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Betty James, Miss Janice West, both of Unadilla, Georgia, and Miss Marita Jones of Newark, New Jersey, Mrs. Etta Ruth Lawson of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a beloved and devoted sister-in-law, Miss Lillian Billingsley of Unadilla, Georgia, a devoted cousin, Deacon Harry Carter, and his wife, Mrs. Mary Carter of Vienna, Georgia, a host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Lula Mae Jones, age 84, of 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Eula Mae Jones, age 84, will be held Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary of the Camp Creek First Baptist Church in Unadilla, Georgia. The burial will follow at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia. The Reverend Dr. Christopher West will officiate. Mr. Cedric Young, age 41, of 631 West Pine Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Thursday, August 22nd, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Mrs. Cedrion Young and Miss Jalen Young, both of Cordele, Georgia, his grandson, Master Bryson K. Wilson, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Linda Lord and her husband, Sir James Lord of Athens, Georgia, Miss Vernetta Young of Vienna, Georgia, Miss Serena Melton and her husband, Mr. Lee Melton, of Marvin, North Carolina, and Miss Felicia Young of Vienna, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Willie James Young, Jr. of Unadilla, Georgia, Mr. Sammy Young and his wife, Mrs. Jennifer Young of Kathleen, Texas, Mr. Willie Joe Young and his wife, Mrs. Michelle Young of San Antonio, Texas, Mr. Rodney Young and his wife, Mrs. Nikita Young of Albany, Georgia, Miss Scotty Hardrick of Tampa, Florida, Mr. Darren Young and his wife, Mrs. Debbie Young of Vienna, Georgia, and Mr. Garrett Young of Temple, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncle, Miss Dorothy Leggett of Hawkinsville, Georgia, Miss Adeline Felton of Vienna, Georgia, and Mr. Walter Felton and his wife, Mrs. Jeanette Felton of Lilly, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Cedric Young, age 41, of 631 West Pine Street, Vienna, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Cedric Young, age 41, will be held Saturday, August 31st, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. in the sanctuary of the Turkey Creek Baptist Church in Lilly, Georgia. The Reverend Robert Taylor will officiate. The burial will follow at the Forest Chapel Church Cemetery in Pinehurst, Georgia. Mrs. Hortense Davis Ellis, age 81, of 115 Tom Chapman Boulevard, Warner Robins, Georgia, died Friday, August 23rd at the Piedmont Hospital in Macon, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mrs. Alexis Hoston of Lansing, Michigan, Miss Monica Ellis of Warner Robins, Georgia, and Miss Shatria Ellis of Centerville, Georgia. 3 beloved grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, a host of other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Hortense Davis Ellis, age 88, of 115 Tom Chapman Boulevard, Warner Robins, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Hortense Davis Willis, age 88, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangement. Mr. Lester Jones, Jr., age 75, of 1301 South 15th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, August 24th, 2024, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his beloved son, Mr. Jeremy Jones, and his wife, Miss Kendra Jones of Cordele, Georgia. 7 beloved grandchildren, his beloved brothers, Mr. Tony Jones and his wife, Mrs. Trixie Jones of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Joe C. Jones of San Antonio, Texas, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Christine Gaines, Mrs. Ruby Jones, Mrs. Ann Rouse, Mrs. Jeanette Jones, and Miss Gloria Jones, all of Cordele, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Lester Jones, Jr., age 75, of 1301 South 15th Street, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Lester Jones, age 75, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And now for announcements. The Evergreen Baptist Church of Pinehurst, Georgia, annual homecoming will be Sunday, August 25th at 11 a.m. The pastor, Reverend Dejon Griggs, will deliver the homecoming message. A 3-night revival service begins Monday, August the 26th with praise and worship with Reverend Griggs. Tuesday, August 27th, the Reverend Kobe McKenzie. Wednesday, August 28th, Minister Kawana Walker. Everyone is invited to attend. Sister Bertha L. Thomas, Secretary, Deacon John David Long, Chairman of Deacons, and Reverend Dejon Griggs, Pastor. The New Life Church of Leesburg, Georgia, inauguration celebration will be today, August 25th at 2 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend. The Reverend Johnny Hosley, Pastor-elect. The New Beulah Baptist Church of DeSoto, Georgia, annual homecoming service will be Sunday, August 1st at 10 a.m. Everyone is invited to attend. Sister Rosemary Jones, Secretary, Deacon Bobby Robinson, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Christopher Perry, Pastor. The McAfee Grove Baptist Church of Leesburg, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them Family Night Tuesday at 7 p.m., small class study Thursday at 7 p.m., Sunday morning worship at 9 a.m. You may join them by dialing 425-436-6341, 425-436-6341, and the code is 708058. Minister Tawana Daniels, Secretary, Dr. Robert L. Morgan, Sr., Pastor. The New Corinth Baptist Church of Leslie, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each third Sunday at 10 a.m. Everyone is invited. Deacon Johnny Griffin, Jr., Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Carl Smith, Pastor. Mrs. Veranda Cladd is a certified American Heart Association BLS instructor, is offering initial certification and recertification in CPR and AED or first aid training. For more information, please contact Mrs. Veranda Cladd at 229-267-3229, 229-267-3229, Mrs. Veranda Cladd. The Crossroad Baptist Church will close their annual revival today during their morning worship. Everyone is invited to attend with Eileen Payne, Church Mother, Deacon Jimmy Charles Mumphrey, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Nelson Maynard, Pastor. The Beulah Land Baptist Church Annual Mission Day will be today, Sunday, August 25th at 2 p.m. Dr. Alicia M. Johnson of Kingdom Life Christian Fellowship of Savannah, Georgia, will be their special guest. Everyone is invited. Mother Diane Flood, Church Mother, Deacon Willie Smith, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Dwayne L. Daniels, Pastor. The Shady Grove Baptist Church Annual Men and Women's Day will be Sunday, today, August 25th at 11 a.m. Evangelist Paulette Thornton, better known as Miss P, will be the guest speaker. Everyone is invited. Sister Shawana Davis, Secretary, Deacon Sam Montford, Chairman of Deacons, the Reverend Kelvin E. Drake Sr., Pastor. The Beautiful Zion Baptist Church Annual Revival begins Wednesday, August 28th and Thursday, August 29th at 7 p.m. each evening. The following will be their special guests. Wednesday, New William Grove Baptist Church, New Zion Hope Baptist Church, Mount Bethel Baptist Church, and their pastor, the Reverend Willie James Felton. Thursday, St. James Baptist Church, Zion Grove Baptist Church, Mount Olive Baptist Church, and Davis Chapel CME Church, and Pastor Reverend Wilburn. The revival will climax Sunday, September 1st, with the pastor, Reverend Orenda Ray, delivering the morning message. Everyone is invited. Mother Donna Mae Childs, Church Mother, the Reverend Orenda Ray, Pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church will observe their 108th church anniversary and the 5th anniversary of their pastor, Reverend Cecil Strawder. The service will be Wednesday, September 4th at 7 p.m. On program will be the Mount Calvary Baptist Church and Pastor Reverend Isaac H. Owens. On Sunday, September 8th at 10:30 a.m., the Bethlehem Baptist Church of Americas, Georgia, and Pastor Reverend Dayon G. Griggs will be in charge of the anniversary service. Everyone is invited. Mother Mary Butler, Church Mother, Sister Linda Wilson, Church Clerk, Deacon Johnny Wilson, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Cecil Strawder is the pastor. The annual revival service of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church begins September 10th through the 12th. The service began each evening at 7 p.m. The Reverend Ronnie Britson, pastor of the Mount Olive Baptist Church, Sparks, Georgia, will be the revivalist. Everyone is invited. Sister Valerie Roberson, church clerk, Deacon Leon Spears, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Isaac Owens, pastor. The Cordial Chris NAACP is hosting a Get Out and register and go vote community rally this afternoon from 4 to 7 p.m. at Reed Park. Activities will be available for the youth, neighborhood canvassing, voters registration, and campaign signs will be distributed. Please come and get involved. The Cordial Chris NAACP is hosting a Get Out, Get Registered, and Go Vote community rally this afternoon from 4 to 7 p.m. at Reed Park. Activities will be available for the youth, neighborhood canvassing, voters registration, and campaign signs will be distributed. Please come and get involved. Little Blessing Daycare, 2604 South 10th Street, Cordele, Georgia, is taking applications for enrollment for ages 1 through 12. For more information, please contact Ms. Charsley Roundtree at 229-296-1218, 229-296-1218. Now, Open Right Choice DUI School, 854 North Houston Road, Warner Robins, Georgia, offering online and in-person classes, weekday and weekend classes. For more information, please call 478-210-6346, 478-210-6346. Fort Valley State University Chris County Head Start is now accepting applications for the 2024-2025 school year. If interested, visit the Head Start Center at 1110 South 12th Street, Cordele, Georgia, to complete an application. For more information, please contact Ms. LaQuetta Jenwright at 229-276-9880. Ms. LaQuetta Jenwright, 229-276-9880. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church conference call scheduled Sunday morning at 10 a.m., prayer Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon. Bible study each Wednesday at 7 p.m. The call-in number 339-209-6419. The call-in number for the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church, 339-209-6419. Deacon Jwwilliams, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Dan James III, Pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them today at 10:30 a.m. Mother Mary Butler, Church Mother, Deacon Johnny Wilson, Chairman of Deacons, the Reverend Cecil Strawder, Pastor. The New Oak Grove Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them today. Sunday school at 9:15 a.m., worship service at 10 a.m., face covering is required. Sister Letha Askew, Church Clerk and Trustee, Deacon Alonzo Jones, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend W. Wilson, Pastor. The Greater Gum Creek Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them today, Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Mother Norma Solomon, Church Mother, Deacon Zachary Fields, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Joseph Hagerbrook, Pastor. The St. Paul Presbyterian Church, 514 West 15th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each first and third Sundays at 11 a.m. Sister Elder Ola Outlaw, Clerk of Session, and the Reverend Owita Heckman, Pastor. You're invited to worship with the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church today with Sunday school at 9 a.m. with the Superintendent, Deacon John Stubbs, and Deacon Donald Talbot in charge. Morning worship at 9:30 a.m. with observance of the annual Family and Friends Day. Everyone is invited. Mother Mary Henderson, Church Mother, Deacon Tommy Ford, Chairman of Deacons, and Dr. K.M. Williams is the pastor. Friends, that conclude our announcements for this morning, and we do pray that you would govern yourselves accordingly. And now for dedications. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: in loving memory of Miss Lois Carter, who would have celebrated her birthday August 21st, dedication requested by the Lawton and Epps family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Johnny James Talbot, who would have celebrated his birthday August 23rd, dedication requested by his beloved wife, Mrs. Juanita Talbot, the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the entire Talbot, Mathis, and Buckles family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Lois Williams, who would have celebrated her birthday August 24th. Dedication requested by the Williams, Lawton, and Epps family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mr. Lester C. Williams, who would have celebrated his birthday August 24th. Dedication requested by the Williams, Lawton, and Epps family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Sally Mae Jones, who departed this life August 24th, 1993. Dedication requested by the Jones family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Minister Virginia Rose Oliver, who departed this life August 24th, 2017. Dedication requested by the Hardiman, Preston, and Cobb family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Howard Jones II, who would have celebrated his birthday August 25th. Dedication requested by his beloved sister, Mrs. Dorothy Rose Jones. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Minnie Felton, who departed this life August 25th, 1999. Dedication requested by the Jones, Felton, and Coley families. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Deacon Edgar Lester Jr., from his beloved wife, Mrs. Bernice Lester, who would have celebrated their 51st wedding anniversary, August 25th. Gone but not forgotten. In memory of Deacon Edgar Lester Jr., from his wife, Mrs. Bernice Lester. In loving memory of Mrs. Inez Mayo Shorter, who departed this life August 29, 2014. Dedication requested by her beloved family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Willie Pearl Davis, who departed this life August 29, 2013. Dedication requested by Mrs. Mary Francis Davis and family. Gone but not forgotten. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy 12th anniversary to Mr. Derek and Miss Pamela Zander Smith, who is celebrating their anniversary, celebrated their anniversary August 18. And also happy birthday to Mr. Derek Smith, who celebrated his birthday on Monday, August 19. Dedication requested by their beloved family. Happy 33rd anniversary to Mr. Ronnie and Miss Cheryl Ray, who celebrated their anniversary Saturday, August 24th. Dedication requested by the Ray family. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday to Miss Oliver Glenn, who celebrated her birthday Wednesday, August 14th. Dedication requested by the Glenn, Lawton, and Epps family. Happy birthday to Mr. Rayshawn Redding Jr., who celebrated his birthday Wednesday, August 21st. Dedication requested by the Redding, Lawton, and Epps family. Happy birthday to Mr. Marcus Baldwin, who celebrated his birthday Tuesday, August 20th. Dedication requested by his beloved aunt, Mrs. Bernice Lester, and family. Happy birthday to Mr. Ray Jackson, who celebrated his birthday Saturday, August 24th. Dedication requested by the Jackson, Lawton, and Epps family. Happy birthday to Mr. Eric Bryant, who is celebrating his birthday today, August 25th. Dedication requested by the Bryant family. Happy birthday to Mr. Johnny Davis II, who will celebrate his birthday Monday, August 26th. Dedication requested by the family. Happy birthday to Mr. Norman Fields II, who will celebrate his birthday Tuesday, August 27th. Dedication requested by his beloved parents and the entire family. Happy birthday to Mr. Jalen Epps, who will celebrate his birthday Thursday, August 29th. Jalen attends college at Denson, Ohio, and dedication requested by his mother, Miss Rolie Epps, and the entire Lawton and Epps family. Happy birthday to Mr. Jalen Epps, who celebrated his birthday Thursday, August 28th, and is attending college in Denton, Ohio. God bless you. Happy birthday to Miss Donna Epps, who will celebrate her birthday Friday, August 30th. Dedication requested by the Lawton and Epps family. Special birthday wishes goes out to our friend and brother, Dr. Dan James III, pastor of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church, who will celebrate his birthday. He will celebrate his birthday Friday, August 30th. Dedication requested by the family and the members of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church. Happy birthday to Dr. Dan James III, Vice Moderator of the Gum Creek Missionary Baptist Association and pastor of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church. God bless you. Our selection this morning, first selection is dedicated to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, Deacon George Jordan and family, Vienna, Georgia, Deacon Jerome Jordan and family, Mr. A.J. and Mother Vera Rivers and family, Mr. and Mrs. Willie James Patrick and family, Mr. Lewis Kennedy and family, Mr. Tommy Kennedy and family, Deacon Bob Fuse and family, Deacon Joel Clark and family, Deacon Oscar Cook, Chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Friendship Baptist Church of DeSoto, Georgia, the members there, the Fuller family, the Mercer family, the Mitchell family, Deacon and Mrs. Jake Reese and family, Mother Mamie Robinson and family, Deacon Kelvin and Sister Rosemary Jones and family, and Tyrone Robinson and Jones family, Deaconess Martha A. Cross and family, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Cross and family, Mr. and Mrs. Reginald Cross and family, Miss Willie Mae Crapp and family, Mother Diane Flood and family, Deacon Willie Smith and family, Deacon Curtis Lucas Jr., retired educator of the Chris County School System, the Reverend Willie Earl Lockett and Sister Helen Lockett of Albany, Georgia, pastor of the Greater Pines Chapel Baptist Church of Albany, Georgia, Deacon Frank and Sister Gloria Mays and family, Deacon Emery Wright and family, and Ty Wright, Jones and Perry family, Mother Mary Wakefield Minion and family, Mrs. Mary Applin and family, Judge Gail Sims and family, Mrs. Thelma Hopper and family, Mrs. Edna Clay and family, Mother Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, and the entire Carter family of Hatley, Georgia, Mr. Keith Muntz and family, Ms. Eddie Mae Cooks and family, Mother Pearl Reed and family, Mother Bishop Maggie Washington and family, Elder Gardner and Mrs. Brula Morgan and family, Mrs. Ola, Pastor Ola Lofton and family, Mother Jessie Kate Harmon and family, Mrs. Gail Chanel and family, Miss Wadia Mumford and family, Miss Katrina Jones and family, Miss Nancy Butler and family, Mr. and Mrs. A.B. Levant and family, the Dennis family, Miss Sidney Ruff and family, Miss Annette Ruff and family, the Reverend Dion Jones and family, Mrs. Aletha Askew, church clerk and trustee of the New Oak Grove Baptist Church, Ms. Amnora Ray and family, Minister and Mrs. Robbie Williams and family, Mrs. Alma Johnson and family, Ms. Willie Mae Cobb and family, Mrs. Ernestine Gaines and family, Ms. Christine Gaines and family, Deacon Major Walker and family, Stuart Lonnie Barrett and family, Ms. Linda Butcher and family, Ms. Eula Hamilton and family, Mr. Edward Butler and family, Mrs. Carolyn Bolden and family, and the entire Perry family, the Reverend Charles Perry Jr. and family, Miss Anna Rose and family, Miss Virginia Williams and family, Mr. Wayne Foster and family, Mr. Nicholas Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Broccoli Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Dwight Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Cedric Johnson and family, Mr. Reed Porter and family, Mr. and Mrs. Harry Fox and family, Elder J.C. and Minister Annette Clark and family, Mr. Robert and Mrs. Fannie Mae Polk and family, Minister Robert and Robbie and Mrs. Jwwilliams and family, Mr. James Reedy and family, Mr. Norris and Miss Gail Bimry and family, Mr. Louis Lemons and family, Miss Nancy Bryant and family, Mr. Joseph Bryant III and family, the Reverend Jolie Butts and family, Miss Rosa Coburn and family, Mrs. Janie Mae Miller and family, Mrs. Minister Alice Mae McKenzie and family, Mr. Frankie Lee Robinson and family, Mrs. Daquita Hunt and family, Mr. Artis Dawson and family, Mr. John Reese and family, Mrs. Barbara Adams and family, Mrs. Virginia Everett and family, Miss Mamie Pope and family, Mr. Jeremy Harvey and family, Mrs. Charlie Mae Colson and family, Mr. Johnny and Mrs. Barbara Dennis and family, Miss Lucille McGill and family, Miss Gwen Westbrook and family, Chairman Deacon Sammy and Sister Shanice McGill and family, Mr. George and Mrs. Ann Whitehead, the Honorable Juanita Kinchin and family of the city of Warwick, Georgia, Miss Geraldine Harvey and family, Deacon Eugene and Miss Deborah Williams and family, Mother Willie McGill and family, Mrs. Lenore McGill and family, Mr. Dravian and Miss Kathy McGill and family, Mrs. Jerry Grant and family, Mrs. Mary Thomas and family, Brenda Webb and family, Deacon and Mrs. Jimmy Fagan and family, Mr. Warner Webbs and family, Mr. Travis Webb and family, Mrs. Doris Wise and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Layfield Buckholz and family, Unadilla, Georgia, Miss Lucy Baker and family, Mr. and Mrs. Jamie Chambliss and family, Mother Adeline Lofton, church mother of the Little Rock Baptist Church of Araby, Georgia, Deacon Lonnie Clayton and family, Miss Brenda Redden and family, Mr. Freddie Bimry and family, Miss Viola Adams and family, Mrs. Jane Oliver Burks and family, Deacon Sammy and Mrs. Fanny Montfrey and family, Mr. Charlie and Mrs. Ruby Jean Ross and family, Mrs. Cheryl Allen Young and family, Dr. Bobby G and Dr. Melba West and family, Mrs. Christine Anderson and family, Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Margaret Jordan, retired educator, Ms. Hilda Ray and family, Ms. Terry Boston and family, Dr. Christopher West and family, Minister Sharonda Towns and family, Mrs. Shirmaine James and family, our first selection for this morning.
Jesus,
to Mr. Derek and Miss Pamela Zander Smith, who celebrated their anniversary August 18th. And also happy birthday to Mr. Derek Smith, who celebrated his birthday Monday, August 19th. Dedication requested by their beloved family. Happy 12th anniversary to Mr. Derek and Miss Pamela Zander Smith, who celebrated their wedding anniversary on August 18th. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Miss Adasia S. Hill, age 27, 121 Packing House Road, Americus, Georgia, died Sunday, August 11th in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Adasia S. Hill, age 27, will be held today, Sunday, August 25th at 2 p.m. in the sanctuary of Living Word Church in Americus, Georgia. The pastor, Reverend Gilbert Nestor, will officiate. The burial will follow at Lebanon Cemetery in Plains, Georgia. Miss Lula Mae Jones, age 84, 268 Carey Street, Unadilla, Georgia, died Wednesday, August 21st at Atrium Health, Navison in Macon, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Lula Mae Jones, age 84, will be held Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary of the Camp Creek First Baptist Church in Unadilla, Georgia. The Reverend Dr. Christopher West will officiate. The burial will follow at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Cedric Young, age 41, of 631 West Pine Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Thursday, August 22nd at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Cedric Young, age 41, will be held Saturday, August 31st at 3:30 p.m. in the sanctuary of the Turkey Creek Baptist Church in Lilly, Georgia. The Reverend Robert Taylor will officiate. The burial will follow at the Forest Chapel Baptist Church Cemetery in Pinehurst, Georgia. Mrs. Ortiz Davis Ellis, age 88, 115 Tom Chapman Boulevard, Warner Robins, Georgia, died Friday, August 23rd at Piedmont Hospital in Macon, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Ortiz Davis Ellis, age 88, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. Lester Jones Jr., age 75, of 1301 South 15th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, August 24th, 2024, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Lester Jones, age 75, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Mr. Jimmy Arthur Royal of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Miss Deborah Ann Miller of Plains, Georgia. This election is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family Miss Adasia S. Hale of Americus, Georgia. The family Miss Lula Mae Jones of Unadilla, Georgia. The family Mr. Cedric Young of Vienna, Georgia. The family Miss Hartez Davis Ellis of Warner Robins, Georgia. The family Mr. Lester Jones Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. This election is dedicated to all of the sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in the armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker. This election goes out to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and their grandson, Noble. Goes out to my sister, Mrs. Patsy Jackson, and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson of Cordele, Georgia. Goes out to my niece, Mrs. Vera Mathis, and Mrs. Florine Manning Mumphrey, and the entire Manning and Mumphrey family. This election goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, and to our pastor, Dr. Jwwilliams, and his wife, Sister Kathy Williams. Again, invite you to worship today with Annual Family and Friends Day. Will be observed today with Sunday school at 9 a.m. with the Superintendent, Deacon John Stubbs, and Deacon Donald Tarbert in charge. Morning worship at 9:30 a.m. observing Family and Friends Day. This election goes out to our dear friend and brother, Deacon Jimmy Charles Mumphrey, chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Crossroad Baptist Church. Goes out to our dear friend of long standing, the Reverend Johnny B. Dean, pastor, New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia. This election goes out to our beloved Miss Easter May Sanders, Mr. Cleveland R. Lemon, oldest staff member of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Goes out to the Reverend Ivory, Mrs. Dorothy Carbon and family, Mother Van Esther Colson and family, Mr. Simon Felder and family, Ms. Johnny May Sanders and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Keith Lewis and family. God bless you. This fourth Sunday in August 2024.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. And remember, in your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home.